scripture I'm sure you've heard preached on a lot. Maybe not the way you're going to hear it today, though. So what I want to do is I want to kind of give you a little overview, a little backstory of what was going on up to this point, up till verses 25, 24 through 31. See, this is just after John the Baptist had been beheaded in prison. And the disciples came and he took the body and he buried it. And Jesus, hearing of this, took a ship over the Sea of Galilee to what is described by Luke as a desert place belonging to a city called Bethsaida. And the people heard of where he went or where he was going, and they took off. See, they wanted to be where Jesus was. And having compassion toward them, he healed them. And according to Mark 6:32, he taught them, because they were as sheep having not a shepherd. And in the evening, Matthew 14, verse 15, and when the evening was come, his disciples came unto him, saying, This is a desert place, and the time is now past. Send the multitude away, that they may go into the villages and buy themselves victuals. They were saying, It's getting late, and we out here in this desert place. We're in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing around. Send these people away. Let them go home. Let them get them something to eat. But Jesus said, they don't got to leave. And he told the disciples, give them something to eat. And we know the story. They only had 5 loaves and 2 fishes. And we know how Jesus took the loaves and the fishes and he looked up to heaven and he blessed them. And they handed them out. And after everybody had been fed, they took up 12 baskets of food that didn't get eaten. 5 loaves and 2 fishes fed 5,000 men. Right. Not counting the women and the children.
Amen.
That is just amazing in itself. And so he told the disciples to take the ship and go before him to the other side. He sent the multitudes away, and he went alone into the mountain to pray. And now we see the ship in the middle of the sea being tossed with waves and violent wind. And that's where we pick up the scripture into here. Into the verses that kind of stuck out in my mind. Verses that spoke to my heart in a very unexpected way. Probably a little different than you ever heard before. So I'm just going to read Matthew chapter 14, 24 through 31. But the ship was now in the midst of the sea, tossed with waves, for the wind was contrary. And in the 4th watch of the night, Jesus went unto them, walking on the sea. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, It is a spirit. And they cried out for fear. But straightway Jesus spake unto them, saying, Be of good cheer, it is I, be not afraid. And Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it be thou, bid me come unto thee on the water. And he said, Come. And Peter was come down out of the ship, and he walked on the water to go to Jesus. But when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried, saying, Lord, save me. And immediately Jesus stretched forth his hand and caught him, and said unto him,
Amen.
O thou of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt?
Mm-hmm.
So the disciples are in the 4th watch of the night. This is sometime between 3 and 6 a.m. This also happens to be the absolute darkest hour of the night. We find the disciples in what is possibly the worst storm that they had ever been in, and in what could possibly be considered the worst place to be in a storm. Verse 26, and when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, It is a spirit, and they cried out for fear. We often find ourselves in situations like these men. Tell me if this sounds familiar to you. They're in the 4th watch. They're in their darkest hour. They're in an incredible storm, and they're afraid. And it looks like they're in big trouble. It looks like the ship will be broken up and they will drown. It don't look good. I mean, think about what it must have been going through their head. We way out here in the middle of this sea in a terrible storm. And Jesus is way over there. We're going to die here. Yeah. And in their fear, they cry out to the Lord. Watch them now. Remember, it's dark. It's very dark. The ship is being tossed around and the wind is violently blowing. And when you have waves like those and wind like that, you have what is called sea spray. It's the water that gets blown from the tops of the waves by the wind. And in those conditions, it would be extremely hard to see anything. And they cried out to the Lord. And now they're searching, they're looking, and they're waiting for rescue. Can you see them? They scan into the horizon to see anything. And I can hear him. He's like, I imagine it was something like, they scan in the horizon, and he's like, hey, I can't see anything. Yeah. And they scanning, and all of a sudden something starts to come into view. And he's like, hey, wait a minute. I see something. I don't know what it is, but something is definitely there. Now remember, it's dark, it's storming, it's hard to see. But they're looking for what they cried out to the Lord for. They're looking for rescue. And I can hear them as what they can barely see gets closer and brighter. It gets a little clearer, and it scares them because it don't look like what they expected. And they can't see how this could possibly be any good for them. I imagine it's something like this. Oh, Lord, what is that? It's a spirit. This is not good. This will not be helpful at all. I mean, we out here in the middle of this storm. We're in this boat with all of this wind in the middle of this storm. We're looking for Jesus, and we get a spirit. Oh, Lord, help us. Yeah. And so they cry out with fear. Yeah. But straightway Jesus spoke unto them, saying, be of good cheer, it is I, be not afraid. And Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it be thou, bid me come unto thee on water. So out on the sea in the darkest part of the night in a terrible storm, and something is coming. Something is on the way. But it's hard to see. It's getting closer, and it's getting clearer. But it still don't look like the help we need. Like the help we so faithfully ask for. But then it's revealed to us. It's laid out before us like a flashing neon light. And what do? Just like Peter, we question the blessing or the avenue of escape that's been laid out before us. We question what don't look exactly how we think it should. Come on, brother. That's just us as people. The first part of verse 29, where Jesus said, and he said, come. But the Lord removed all doubt when he spoke. He removed all doubt that who it was that was out on the sea in front of him when he spoke. He didn't turn away from them or anything. I mean, they were skeptical. They were doubting. They were freaking out because this wasn't what they wanted. And it would have been very easy for the Lord at that point to just turn his back and walk away. But he did. He spoke and reassured them. And the last part. And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. Hey, that's a lot of us today. We took that step in faith, and we stepped down out of our comfort zone. Mm-hmm. We stepped out on life's sea with Jesus, and we're walking by faith with Jesus. First part of verse 30 says, but when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid and beginning to sink. I'm going to stop right there and we'll read the rest of the verse in a minute. See, he's out of his comfort zone. That ship, no doubt, was a scary place to be in the storm and in the dark. But he was firm under his feet. There was something solid that he could stand on. And no doubt, the sea didn't look all that stable to him. I mean, let me ask you a question. Ship or the sea, which would you think that you stood a better chance of standing on? I mean, you can see where his mind could have been right there. So he's out of his comfort zone. He left what he knew to be a solid place to stand. He took that step of faith and he stepped down out of the ship and out onto the sea. And no doubt by now, he's way too far and the waters are way too deep. And the situation around him is way too dangerous for him to ever successfully navigate or get himself out of on his own. And so he's out on the sea. He's faithfully walking to Jesus when all of a sudden the wind whips by. And maybe at first he stays focused, but then the wind again. But he's still walking. When all of a sudden, out of nowhere, woo! And he's, oh Lord, what was that? And his focus is gone.
Yep.
He saw the wind and was afraid, and doubt began to set in. And he began to sink. There are a lot of us here that our lives look like these scriptures right now. We got on board. We got on that solid ground. And troubles have come. Things that look bad. And it was hard to see the help that we needed. But the Lord showed up and He renewed our faith. And He called us out of our comfort zone. He called us out to walk with Him. And so we were out walking with Jesus out on life's crazy sea. Walking by faith and doing good, though the storm raged around us. When that something came along and something happened, that automotive issue, that financial issue, that loved one leaving too early, whatever it may be that has howled in our ears and taken our focus away from Jesus and caused us to fear and doubt. And now we're sinking. Look at the last part of verse 30 and 31. This is right after Peter began to sink. He cried, saying, Lord, save me. And immediately Jesus stretched forth his hand and caught him and said unto him, O thou of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt? Hey, that's what I am here to tell you. You might be in your darkest hour. You might be in your worst storm. And you're fearful, and you're sinking, and you can see no end in sight. You see distant things too hard to make out, and there seems to be no exit. No way out. But all you got to do is cry to Jesus.
Amen.
Lord, save me. And immediately, just like Peter, He will catch you and pull you up out of that mess. And put your feet on solid ground. I say solid ground because of what we see in verse 32. And when they were coming to the ship, the wind ceased. Hey, He picked him up. He didn't just pick him up, though. He picked him up. He didn't pick him up and leave him out in the storm mode. He picked him up and took him back to where he had solid ground to stand on. And not just solid ground to stand on in the middle of the storm. He took away the storm, too.
Amen. That's right.
That's right, Jesus, baby. He don't do nothing halfway. He do it all the way.
That's right.
So you can see how I see all of us, or can you see how I see all of us in these verses? I'm gonna try to explain it to you a little bit. Firstly, there are some who never boarded the ship in the first place.
Yep.
Got that right.
They stood on the bank and watched the ship was loaded and set sail. And they're still standing on the bank, stuck in the mud. A lot of y'all can probably relate to this and understand what I'm saying. You find that as you come to any body of water, when you reach a point where the water meets the land, you will find that the ground there most often is saturated and very soft. And you'll find it easy to sink into the mud there and to get stuck if you try to stand there. Hey, you can't stand in the middle. You either stand on the wharf or you on board with Jesus, baby. There ain't no middle ground for you to stand on.
Amen.
And the next thing we see is those who saw the wonderful things taking place, they met Jesus and turned their back for the world. The pull of the world was just too great for them. Then those who got on board. They got on board, they found that solid ground, but they refused to go any further.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Jesus is calling them out to the sea with Him, out on life's sea, with him, but they are unwilling to leave their safe place.
Yeah, that was.
You know how we get. You know how we get. I'm singing in the choir, but don't ask me to do nothing else. This is my place. This is what I do, and I ain't doing anything else.
Yep.
I work in the sound booth. Don't ask me to do nothing else, because I ain't going nowhere else.
That's right.
This is who I am, and this is what I do.
That's good.
I've been there. I've been there. That was me.
Mm-hmm.
I was that person. So
Yeah,
then there are those who Jesus called, and they stepped out of their comfort zone
Yeah.
and out on the life's crazy seas and walking with Jesus. And so far, everything's going great. And then there are those who are like Peter, walking with Jesus, who walking with Jesus have been distracted by whatever
that can happen.
and are sinking.
Yep.
Yep. That's good. Amen.
Anyway, all of that was to tell you this in closing. No matter where you fit into all of this, the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ is greater than anywhere you are, any situation you're in,
Come on,
or any
brother.
trial you might be facing.
Yeah.
You're right, brother.
Guaranteed. It don't matter what your situation, there's no situation out of the reach of Jesus. It don't matter how dark it seems to be, it's never been too dark for Jesus to find you.
Amen.
It don't matter how bad the storm is, there is no storm so strong that Jesus can't take it.
Amen.
And it don't matter how bad you've been. There never was a person so bad that Jesus
Come
couldn't
on.
save him.
Amen.
So call out
Yeah.
to Jesus. Lord, save me.
Yeah.
He's waiting.
Good. Amen.
It don't matter who you are, who or where you are. It don't matter where you're standing. If you turn back and you're standing out in the world, like the people we talked to just a minute ago, or maybe you're standing in a pill bottle, or that liquor bottle, or adultery, or fornication, or any other number of addictions and sins that you may be sinking in today. Cry out to Jesus. Just like Peter, he will save you. Say, hey, maybe you got there, but for whatever reason you didn't make that commitment. You didn't turn your back and go out into the world,
Come on.
but you didn't get on board and follow Jesus either.
That's right.
You couldn't seem to let go of the world and give yourself to Jesus, and now you're not sure if you can. You're stuck in the mud.
Come on.
Think.
Come on. That's
Let me
good.
tell you again. Cry out to Jesus.
Amen.
He can save you.
Amen.
So maybe you got on board, you got comfortable, and you got settled in. Wasn't willing to go too much further than that. You found a place that feels solid to stand and didn't want to leave. And as you sat there in that comfortable place, you found yourself grown cold. That fire has become dim.
That can happen.
Cry out to Jesus, because he can fire you up and help you out of that place that you have become entrapped in.
That's right.
Or maybe you're out of your comfort zone and you've been out walking with Jesus and things have drawn you away from him,
come on.
and now you're sinking. Cry out to Jesus. And just like Peter, he will save you. It don't matter who you are, where you are, or what you've done.
Yeah.
If you cry out to Jesus with all your heart,
Hey.
Lord, save me! He
Come
will
on.
save you.
That's right.
Good.
Who? Yeah, way faster than I thought. That's the whole thing, though, man. It don't matter where you at. It don't matter what you've done. It don't matter what
That's
situation
good,
you
brother,
live
yeah.
in. Don't matter how deep you stuck in the mud.
Come
Don't
on.
matter how far you off in that liquor bottle or pill bottle. It don't matter how far you are. There ain't nothing too far for Jesus.
That's right.
All you gotta do is cry out to him. He's been there the whole time. He never leaves you. He's standing there, he's waiting for you to call.
Yeah. You're right.
I'm confused. Confused.
Come on.
You're right, brother.
That's good.
Stand for the altar call.
Preach, brother. Preach,
Yeah.
preach it.
Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, thank you for the opportunity